In this video, we're going to talk about some potential changes here on YouTube set to take place on January 1st that could heavily impact your ability to make money. So be sure to stick around for this entire video because there's very specific information that you need to know, including your next steps, some of which you should be taking today. I want to make sure you have all the information needed so you can really understand the potential impact of this law on your YouTube channel.
YouTube Simplified. For more videos that help you deliver your value through online video, be sure to click the subscribe button and ring the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing.
All right, so why is everybody freaking out about FTC and Coppa, and how is this really going to impact all of us? Isn't it just about children? And that was totally me. I was under the impression that, hey, I certainly don't make content that's focused towards children. That is clearly not my demographic, so it wasn't something that I was overly concerned with. But after watching a recent conversation between Tim Schmoyer and Jeremy Johnson of J-House Law, it became apparent to me that I needed to know more, and I really needed to understand how this could potentially impact all of us. In that conversation, they broke down exactly why this could impact all channels and not just children's channels. And it goes something like this. They're trying to protect the privacy of children. Therefore, any content that is deemed as viewed by children could potentially be impacted. And what they want to do there is prevent them from using that collection of information, viewing habits of that particular user in an effort to share personalized ads with that viewer. So if they went down the path of saying, hey, your content's watched by children, we don't want you to be able to place personalized ads on the videos on your channel. They also talked about how potential infractions could result in a fine of like $42,000. It was absolutely insane. So the biggest concern here is how vague it's written. It's open to way too much interpretation, which could really harm creators who think that they are completely in the clear and have nothing to do with children's content. And when content creators are out there living with the threat of being associated with children's content, I think this potential law change could have the exact opposite effect that they're intending to have, and that's to protect children. Because think about it, if your channel can be associated with children and that could potentially impact your revenue, it's going to push creators away from making family-friendly content. And that's ironic considering that YouTube has been trying to push people towards family-friendly content. Could you imagine if you had the threat of losing your revenue by making family-friendly content that could potentially be watched by children? You're probably going to go out of your way to make content that couldn't possibly be misconstrued as children's content. What that's going to do is take that family-friendly content and completely diminish it on the platform and push it out altogether. That's going to leave the kids with nothing to watch or potentially watching things that aren't appropriate for them. And that's not a win for anybody. Now, as a parent and a YouTuber, I'm certainly sensitive to the idea of advertisers trying to exploit children. But at the same time, in this particular scenario, I don't personally have a problem with them watching the viewer activity and then sharing ads that are relevant to the viewer activity. I don't see any value to them seeing a muffler ad versus a toy ad or anything like that. So in my mind, I don't really have a problem with the personalized ads. I'm certainly all for anything that helps protect children, but I think they missed the mark here. So my goal of this video is simply to build awareness. I want you guys to be aware that this is happening, and there's some really important dates that you need to know. The first one is today, November 5th. So if you happen to be watching this video as it launches, one of the things that Jeremy is organizing is getting everybody together today on November 5th to actually share comments with the FTC. One of the things that he has worked alongside the FTC was to extend the deadline for public comment. What he wants to do today as a show from YouTube is to get everybody out there to share their comments with the FTC today. I believe you have until December 5th to share comments, and I highly recommend that all of you look into that and share your story and how this could potentially affect you. But it's really important that our voices are heard, not just so much so they know what's, the challenges are from our end, but in many cases, they just simply aren't aware of what the YouTube ecosystem looks like. And it's really important important to give them as much information as possible so they can make an informed decision before this ruling comes out in January. So highly recommend that you do that. Now, the best way to do that, at the end of this video, which is going to end here shortly, I'm going to share a link to the J House Law video that explains exactly what Coppa is and what you need to know. I highly recommend you click on that, watch that video, and then follow the links in the description below that video. There'll be a link to sign the petition, which is just simply putting your name down as a fellow YouTuber who could potentially be negatively impacted by this. And there's also a link to actually share a comment with the FTC, as well as guidelines or tools that can help you on how to phrase or what to talk about in those comments. So Jeremy definitely has all those covered for you. He can do a much better job, having been a practicing attorney and also a successful family vlogger, to give you that information in the best way possible. So not going to waste any more time. Click on this link right now and go check out that video.